Hi, I'm varianbrandon, and this is another of the tangent episodes, which means I'm sort of going off topic to all sorts of places, from strictly, I don't know, stranded. It's all stranded. Anyway, understand. I have no idea what episode this is. I've done these by letters, and you've heard, if you've watched these before, you go, I don't know why I did that, but I've started, so here we go. Anyway, hi. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to talk about my stranded knitting and what's on my needles today and kind of what's going on, that kind of stuff. So as I said, thank you for joining me. We got a couple of things to talk about. One of which is, I just dropped it all on the floor. Hold on. Is this project right here, which I'll tell you about. And then I've got this one here, which has got a steek in it. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you do follow me on Instagram, I'm varianbrandon on Instagram. And I try to post a lot of sunrises, apparently, but also I try to post what's on my needles from time to time, and you'll have seen this one on my needles from time to time. So we have this project, which I'll tell you about. We have also one that's in here, which I'll tell you about. And I think that's about it for right now. So this one was a project that was sent to me by Mountain Meadow Yarn. And Karen over there said, can you do us a project for their, I think they have a yarn club over there, and they have beautiful, this is Cody yarn, which is Cody is a DK yarn. And she said, we are over dyeing some, and forgive me if I get this all wrong, but I'm getting it reasonably close. They're over dyeing for their yarn club a single color yarn. In this case, it was this. I think this is called Storm, if not close to that. Anyway, that. And they over dyed it in a with that dye. Not over dyed. That's not the right word. But anyway, this is this color Storm. I think it is. On white. This is that same color on light gray, and then, yeah, this is it, and on medium gray and on dark gray, right? So I said, sure, I'll do you, a cowl or something that they just needed with these, colors of yarn. And I don't know what I was thinking. I do stranded color work, and I was afraid, I was petrified I was not going to have enough contrast. So, I mean, with this, there's not an awful lot of contrast in there that you can, I mean, there's some, but me, I like lots of color. So I emailed Karen and I said, can you send me some hot pink, some apricot to go along with this, something like that? She said, no, we'd really like to see what you can do with just these four, which goes to show that, sometimes creative people, you give them parameters and you can get pretty creative. She says, the only thing I want to tell you is that we don't want to have stripes. So I was like, well, stripes aren't me anyway, so okay, let's see what I can do. So what I ended up with, I'm actually kind of happy with. It's not it's just subtle changes, subtle colors that it's a design, because you've got these things. I'm trying to get this over here. What I ended up with was, that's half of it right now. It's a big, huge cowl, and you can kind of see to the point there's the halfway part. So I'm getting on this way. So it is just a simple pattern that where the colors change in the middle here, the background colors and the foreground colors change. So it's really sort of kind of icy snow looking. I've got it, it's called Cumulativa because the colors are cumulative with the different colored dyes in it, but that's what that is. I have not released it yet. I just kind of wanted to get this done. So stand by for this one. It is I forget what the size of the cowl is, but it's a big wide cowl. I mean, it's, like this, and this hasn't been blocked yet. It's one of these that you can go around your neck. It's not this big, but you can go around your neck and you put a shawl pin in it, and it just gives you that little bit of color up around your throat. Of course, you've got ends here. I'm sure that looks lovely. Anyway, so that's that one. That's Cumulativa. which, as I said, is with Mountain Meadow Cody yarn, which is her DK weight. That's my friend Karen over there. The other one I'm working on is I decided a while ago that I love complicated. I'm one of those. The more complicated, the better. The more colors, the better. That's what I love to do. And if it takes a while, it takes a while. It is more of a process than a project. So that's a good thing. So what I'm working on right now, I've got a chart, which I will spare you because it's pretty complicated looking. But this is a part of the hello. It's called a swatch. This is part of a swatch. It is a 60 stitch swatch. So it's a pretty big swatch. This is part of it, like this. You'll notice here that I've got little bobbles in here. And there's some more here, and then I'm getting into some more. Now this time, these two sets of bobbles are bobbles of yarn that's already going through the background color. There's more bobbles. Where is it? There's one coming up right here. It's in red. So it's more of sort of an intarsia. It's not really a bobble, it's a knot. But there's sort of intarsia stuff going on here. So I've got, thread coming out for an intarsia knot. And I think in a future episode, when I get through at least one repeat of the patterning, which is, that's just part of it. This particular thing is about that deep, and then there's another little thing, and there's a big huge thing with grapes, and this is going to look kind of like olives when it gets through. But anyway, what I'll do on this podcast is I will spread it out and take a look at it. Take a look at you too, but anyway, take a look at it, and let you kind of see what my thought process is on the fact that right now I think that the color, I don't know whether you can see it, there's sort of a coppery color in there and a lighter one there. That is too much contrast for me right now. We'll see when we get it all together. It may be perfect, but right now that bothers me. This color blue it stands out a little too much, as you can tell. So I may have to change that, but that's the kind of thing that I'll be talking about with this design later on. And it is destined to be a cardigan, with little finger, a cardigan and possibly a long rectangular shawl like Familiars is, it's still around. So it's like Familiars is, which is a big rectangular shawl. But a cardigan is kind of where I'm going with it. It's about 12 colors, and this is Elemental Effects yarn here. So it's, and they're, all the colors, can you see that? All the colors in there. Do you like my project bags? I mean, I think they're really nice that you can see through them. They have these they have Ziploc written on them. I guess they do. No, they don't. But they close really nicely. It's really great. Somewhere along the line, I'll make myself project bags that are out of actually cloth and have drawstrings and have, real proper project bags. Right now, that's just what I can throw them in. I went to a big thing I had to spend. It was a meeting I had to stay, and I sat back there and knitted through most of the meeting, but I didn't have any place to put all the yarn. So I would just had it in my bag inside the big 2-gallon bag like this, and would just pull one skein out at a time. Had to double check when I left that I wasn't leaving any balls that have rolled underneath the chair or anything like that. So that's always fun. So anyway, that's what that's about. Now, this one is called, what is this one? Oh my goodness. Oh, Calloway. This is Calloway. I was going to say it's not Eastlake, it's Calloway. It's an early pattern. I've talked about this before. Here is, I'm going to put in a picture of what the original picture from the magazine, it was when one of the British magazines, The Knitter, I think, a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. I always loved the colors and the pattern, you know, the motifs that are in it. I was not happy with the length or the overhang of the, you know, it had long overhang of the sleeves. So now the sleeves are only going to be about that wide, which is not so bad. And so I've kind of redone the silhouette a bit. But now it is pretty much done, all except for the ribbing. It's a vest, incidentally. And I am going to, in just a minute, we'll go look at the other camera, and I'll cut this steek open for you guys to see. But just so you know, this is done completely in the round, around here. There's the steek up the front. You can see it. I usually set off my steeks with 2 purl stitches on either side, so you really can see them. I also will pick up stitches in that ditch as close to the body as I can. And now, depending on the gauge, you have, I mean, some almost a 1/4 inch sometimes in there where you can pick up stitches. I try to pick it up as close you can see. Let's see if you can do it this way. You see, you've got that much of a space in there that I can pick up. What am I looking? Get it right, ready? Yeah, I can pick up stitches. I'm going to pick it up as close to the body as I can in there. And we'll pick up stitches for the rib that goes around the back of the neck and around the sleeves. So that's my thing I'm going to do. And I can sit here and talk about it. Or, well, let me show you what the steek goes up the front. I did decreases, you can see it this way, the decreases on the outside of the steek. The steek stitches, I use 10 steek stitches, or you can put it another way, I use 8 steek stitches with 2 selvage stitches, and the selvage stitches are the purl stitches on each side. Those are always worked with the background color. And then this is more of a checkerboard in the middle, you know, here. I did, just for shucks, I normally do a Kitchener stitch bind off at the top of the shoulder. In this particular sweater, I decided to do a 3-needle bind off, just to be different. There is another little steek in the back. You can see it kind of right here. That's the back neck steek, so that the back of the neck goes down just a little bit and back up again, rather than going straight across, which is kind of bad on the back of the neck, or up. Now there's some sweaters, the heavier sweaters, some designers will do short rows or something across the back neck to make it come up higher. I don't particularly like that. I'd much rather have it come down a little bit. It's just a matter of preference. So I had it come down about three rounds, which is like, you know, that much. But it's at least down just a little bit in the back. Here are the sleeve steeks that are right here. I put a certain number of stitches. Now, since this is a vest, the armhole is a little bit larger. And this is, took off a little more stitches on the underarm than I would normally have done with a cardigan or a sweater pullover. So I pulled those off, and then here is the sleeve steek, you know, right there. Can you see that? It's kind of sticks out, but you can see it kind of right in there. There's one of the purl stitches there, and there's one there. So there's your steek right there. That will be cut up to open up the sleeve. And I think that's about it. It's completely in the round. We'll see. So I tell you what, let me go set up the other camera, and I'll go over there and we'll cut this open. So hold on. Okay, here we are at the other setup. And this is the vest we were just talking about. This is Calloway. And we have all of these, this is the front like we just talked about. That is left over. I'm not sure what that's left over. Oh, I know what that's for. What I do is when I'm doing decreases like this, I'll put a marker at the number of stitches. I'll count from here to here. In this case, I think there were 22 stitches from here to here. And I'll put a marker on, in this case, I probably must have put it through the stitch. And then as I decrease, I don't have to keep counting here. I just decrease until I hit that marker, and then I know that I've got the 22 stitches. So it's just another way of using markers. So anyway, all right, so let's get going with this. I am just going to cut the front open of this. I probably won't cut the sleeves, just because I want to work the front before I start cutting the sleeves. So all right, so this is stitch. Ooh, you hear the clock? Here we go. This is stitch number 10. This is stitch number 1. Or in this case, that's the right selvage, and this is the left selvage, looking at it straight on. So I'm going to cut right up the middle of this, and I'm going to look over here. Here we are, right there. And we're just going to cut right up the center here. This is Shetland wool. This is Jameson & Smith Shetland wool. So it will not go anywhere. You see what I do here sometimes is that I will, in that between there are 5 stitches this way and 5 stitches that way. On stitch number 5 and number 6, I will do the same color. So I can actually aim for that, especially as I go along. Actually, probably right there I didn't do it. And I try to put my hand underneath it. I've raised this up off the board, so it's not I'm not going to be cutting the back of the sweater with it, but most of the time you want to put your hand underneath it so that you're not going to cut anything else. And what I'm also feeling underneath here is this is in a cardigan like this vest is. This is where I started and stopped all my colors. So back here, in addition, you're seeing it nice and neat from the front, but in the back I'm feeling all these ends that I'm just reaching through. So I'm just going to cut right up through the center here. Make sure I'm cutting all this sort of stuff. And you'll notice that these stitches are not like just running all over the place. They're pretty much just staying right there. As I said, this rustic yarn, there's lots of mouth there. The rustic yarn, this is the Shetland. This is Shetland. There's some Norwegian Roma makes Finnegarn. I think is what that one's called. It is also a rustic that will stay put. This is Shetland, if you will. Let's see. Make sure I'm looking through the camera. Make sure I'm getting right down the center here. There I am, right there. Right through the center there. Those two sort of pinky apricot colors together are only together when it's their turn to be together. So sometimes they make it through the center and sometimes it's 2 other colors. There we go. And right off the top. Now you got to make sure that I cut all of those open. Yep, that's open. And now what I'll do is cut that little back steek as we talked about, and that can just be whacked off in the middle. All right, so there you have it. That is, if I can get the scissors off my thumb. There you have it. Now it's cut open. You can see that's the V of the V-neck. This is a V-neck. Little V-neck vest goes like that. What I'll do is I'll trim these back. I can start trimming off some of this. It's not going anywhere. That makes it kind of look a lot neater. I'll do that all up and down the side. Then this will get folded back. I'll pick up stitches first, and then this will get folded back like this and steamed down, and then I may do a crisscross stitch here. I may just whip it down. But with this rustic yarn, you don't need to do the crocheted secure. You can just cut, and it's, there's no issues there. Of course, I can't see. There we go, see through. So anyway, that's that. That's just cut that front steek. And when I pick up the stitches, I will go through, as I was saying, I'll put a needle through here. Needle will come out back that side, and then I'll wrap the yarn around and pull it forward. And I've got videos for that on my website. So, all right. So here we have it, all cut up. I will cut off, as I was showing you, these, little pieces here. I may trim back a bit. Sometimes I've gotten brave enough now. When I first started learning how to do this, I was, actually it was Alice Stormore. I don't mean to be dropping names, but these days not that many people know who she is. But if you do know who she is, she actually was talking about, I took some classes with her, and she actually was talking about cutting these back to like 2 stitches, and I was always petrified, but I've now gotten much more confident in that, so I may cut this back to 2 stitches and just so that there's a narrow little sort of hem on the back, a little place on the back side of this, and in reality it kind of holds things into place, gives it a little more structure on the front. So that's it, and so I'm going to pick up stitches all around this opening. And then when I get that done, I'll come back and cut the sleeve stitches open. Let's see. You always have little bits of yarn all over the place. I'll cut the sleeve stitches open and do the opening there, and then hopefully it'll be wearable. So anyway, thanks guys for joining me. And just stay tuned. I will be back hopefully pretty soon with if I get a chance. Well, hopefully when I get through that other thing. I've got lots of things going. So, sorry. Anyway, you can find me, and there are the scissors, speaking of things going. That one hit the floor. Anyway, thanks, guys. You can find me at brandonknittingdesigns.com, which is my website. I am varianbrandon on Ravelry. I am varianbrandon on Instagram. I am Brandon Knitting Designs on Facebook. All those places. So thanks guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.